The 401k alternative program teaches employees things about retirement planning, things that have historically only been taught to the rich. Things like how to minimize investment risk, how to pay less in taxes, and how to pay less investment fees. Again, these are things that have been kept a secret for decades, reserved only for the rich. But in our program, we make these secrets available to you. Now, let's start off by talking about investment risk. In a standard retirement account, you get to fully participate in the upside when the market's up, but you also fully participate in the downside when the market crashes. And for example, this is the S&P 500 in 2019, rolling back 20 years. And as you see, here's the tech bubble of 2000, 2001, and 2002, and here's the mortgage crisis of 2008. What's crazy is, 8 years in, and you'd be right back to where you started. And 9 years in, and you would have lost over a third of your money. But in our 401k alternative program, we have a unique crediting method that has a 1% protective floor. What that means is, when the market crashes, you'd get a minimum return of 1%, so no losses. Now there's no free lunch, so what you give up is everything above 9.5%. So if the market does 15%, you'd only get 9.5%. But if the market crashes 20, 30, or 40%, you'd still get credited 1%. And let's also talk about taxes for a moment. Most people have been taught that it's better to contribute pre-tax dollars to a retirement account. So let's take a look at what would have happened if the market did a little over 6% annually. And here we show an employee contributing $285 per month, pre-tax, into a retirement account. Now this could be a 401k or an IRA. The advantage is that they get the money in there without paying taxes first. But when they pull the money out for retirement, they'd pay taxes on 100% of the money they withdraw. So this employee would be able to pull out a little over $110,000 in net after-tax retirement income. This is the amount that they'd be left over with after they pay their taxes, and they would have drawn down their account to zero at age 82. Now on the other hand, if they paid their taxes first, they'd be making after-tax contributions of only $200 per month because they would have already paid tax on their income. Now in this account, which is our program, they would realize tax-free gains. Now they would get this tax treatment in a Roth IRA, or they could do this inside an indexed life insurance policy, which is what our 401k alternative program uses. Now in this example, the employee would be able to pull out a total of $141,000 in income, and they would get all of that tax-free. They would draw that total amount down till age 85, and they'd still have a little over $28,000 left in their life insurance index account, whereas the pre-tax account above would have been drawn down to zero 3 years earlier. Geez, that's over 54% more benefit you get in our program. That's a lot. And the last part we'll talk about is investment fees. As we see here in the traditional retirement plan, they're charging 2.7% in investment fees. Now, according to Forbes, the national average of fees charged in mutual funds is 3.1%, well, 3.17% to be exact. But we'll just use 2.7% for this example. However, in the indexed life insurance example, we see the fees in the beginning are super high, but that's because if the employee dies prematurely, their family gets over $137,000 in life insurance payout. Well, look how small the fees are once they get outside the initial 10-year window. They're a lot less than 2.7%. But the real question is, what does all this mean, and how does it affect you? Well, over this 40-year period on the left side of the screen in the traditional retirement account, with an investment fee of 2.7%, you would have paid over $62,000 in investment fees, versus only $30,000 in charges in the indexed life insurance policy. A huge difference. But the other big thing to factor in is that for the $30,000 in insurance charges, your family gets $137,000 in life insurance benefit, versus in the traditional 401k on the left side of the screen, those $62,000 in fees, which is literally more than double, just gets you so-called advice from your advisor with no life insurance benefit. You see, this is the kind of information you would normally never see because financial advisors are not required to share this information with you when it comes to investment fees. And how does this affect long-term performance? Well, here's a comparison of 3 different 40-year periods. The green line is our program, and the blue line is the traditional 401k. And though during a time where the market was doing 11.84% on the far left side of the screen, the 401k did just a tad better. But during the periods in the middle and on the right side of the screen, the index life insurance policy did substantially better. And why is this discrepancy so huge? Well, three simple reasons. Less risk due to the 1% protected floor, better tax treatment, and lower fees. Now, maybe you're wondering who the insurance company is that we've been talking about. Well, it's Penn Mutual, which was established in 1847, rated A+ by AM Best, and they have over $25 billion in assets. Plus, you can contribute as little as $100 a month. $100 a month. Well, that's like $3 a day. You probably spend that on overpriced coffee. So start saving for retirement now. And make sure you thank your employer for offering this special employee retirement program to you. The 401k Alternative Program, brought to you by the Darin Sugiyama Companies.